So welcome back to another video. So today you join me from my office here in Perth, Western Australia. So today, as probably the title explains, it's about the DJI Mini 2. So this isn't a video review or anything like that. This is a stills thing. I'm going to talk about the stills side of things. I'm not going to go into video because it's very basic video, and I don't know the video side all that well, since I'm a photographer that specialises in stills. I don't focus on video, I just use auto stuff, and that's what works for me. Yeah, so this drone I got for how much I paid? About just under $1,000 in November of 2020, and I've had it ever since. I never took out the care plan with it. I didn't think that was going to be beneficial for me, and long and behold, it's January 2022, and yeah, I haven't needed to use a care plan or anything like that. This drone has been faultless. The times I have had like little impacts, the drone has walked away from it, had no problems. So long as I plan my flights and I'm careful when I fly, I've had no problems, and you shouldn't have any problems if you're a careful flyer. This drone doesn't have any obstacle avoidance apart from the base. I have had it where I've been flying over a river or a lake or stuff, and it starts to starts to drop when it's about 5 meters from above, because it can't sense, its altitude. So the sensor gets a bit fooled, and then it'll start lowering, and it thinks it needs to land. So be careful of that. So yeah, my reason for doing this, I had the original Mavic Air, but I found with that it had so many problems with it. With the signal, because it had Wi-Fi based reception. So I ended up losing that, I think, in August or so, or in September of 2020. And then I was a bit apprehensive about getting another drone, and then I heard about the OcuSync was a much better and stable connection. And in the whole year of flying, I've done around 300 or 400 kilometers of flights. I've done, I don't know how many hours of flying, it's probably close to 100 hours, maybe a bit more. The reason why I'm estimating it is because I do go through my flight plan. I don't store it on the cloud, I just store it on my phone, and I did get a new phone last year, and so it didn't have it backed up on that, and I've used it across other devices as well. But yeah, I've done a lot of flying with this. The batteries are rated for about 100 cycles, I believe, per battery, and I've used about 40. So soon I will replace them. I have noticed they are starting to drop in performance a little bit. I'm not getting as much flight time as I used to. Only probably about 10% less. It's not a huge difference. So yeah, this drone, I got it for its smallness, its compactness, and its lightweight. It's just so small. It fits so well in the hand. It just fits in my palm basically when folded up. And it does have a bit of a cheap feel to it, because it is 249 grams, and it allows us to fly into those airspaces where we wouldn't normally be able to fly with a bigger drone over that, to over 250 grams. So it's a compromise, but I haven't had any problems with it at all. As you can see, it's a very small little drone. And the controller is nice. I like the bigger controller, nice handle. Yeah, and nice functionality in that, and the app as well, the DJI Fly, I think it is. It works really well. I wish it was the same as the Air, or the Air 2 and all that, and the Pro, because that just had so many more features. But I can understand why it's a bit more basic for this basic drone, basic features, basic app. But yeah, this drone has just allowed me to go to more places that I wouldn't normally have gone to, create different shots. I've gone to mineral tailings, and shot from above. Because you can fly over these places with your drone, you're not allowed to go in person, but you can fly over these places. You're flying in the airspace, so you can legally fly over them, and they can't do anything about it because you're in the airspace. But just be cautious of flying, because the area does have a lot of electrical interference, so your range will be lessened. Just something to be cautious about. Built up areas as well, and also when you are flying your drone, put your phone into flight mode, because if you don't, and it's nothing to do with getting a phone call, the controller will get interference from your phone, and you'll have signal problems as well there. So best to put your phone in flight mode. I do it all the time. If you are using the shot mode, whatever it's called, you know, like the boomerang and stuff, then you need to put your phone in out of flight mode and put it into just normal mode. You know, where you've got phone reception, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth, because your phone, something, I don't know how it works, but the drone communicates with the phone to get its location. I think because your phone's got a GPS in it, and the drone has a GPS in it, so it needs to track it. And yeah. Image quality wise, this thing has just got like it's just fixed aperture of f2.8. At first I thought it wasn't going to be any good, but it's just outstanding. I don't have to worry about focusing, and I don't have to worry about the aperture control. And you might be wondering, does it get a bit soft on the edges at times? And it does, but majority of the time it's sharp from the middle to the corners. I do find like a couple of the corners sometimes it's not that sharp as the other two, but I think that's to do with the optical, and this is just a small cheap drone. So yeah, you can't ask for much more from it. And I think if I were to go to something more, I wouldn't be getting that much more from the drone. I'd be getting a bigger sensor, so I'd be able to handle low light better. I'd be able to push the ISO just a little bit, but I don't think I'll be able to push it more. I keep this on ISO mainly 100. I wouldn't push it to 200 or 400, so I keep it as low as possible to keep the amount of power going to that sensor, so it keeps the sensor cooler, which in turn allows me to get better image quality, because there won't be as much heat generated, so you won't get as much noise. So yeah, you get the best out of the sensor. So yeah, the bigger sensors, I think the Mavic Air 2S and the Pros, and even the Pro 3, they don't appeal to me anymore. I would need something when it comes to me, for what I do. I just want something that's small, light, and portable. I don't think twice about bringing with me. You know, this fits down to a camera. When I've got this all sorted down, I'll just take the little props off. So when I've got this stored in my camera bag, it takes up that much space. Forget about the props all extended, so it just takes up this small amount of space. So it's smaller than my palm of my hand in height, and it just makes it, you know, I just slot it into my camera bag. I don't use the bag it came with. No need for it. I use big bags anyway. I've got a low pro bags or many other bags or cases, and yeah, it just yeah. If I had the bigger drone, I'd be worried about it, and also I probably wouldn't fly to some of the areas which I have been. I'd be more cautious of it. I'd be babying it a lot more. You know, when I first got this, I was babying it a lot. You know, I wasn't flying it where I would normally do it now. But over the last, when I've done more and more flying, because I've done around, I think about 400 kilometers of flying with this drone. I've done over 100 hours of flight time, and I've just got so much more experience and confidence in the drone itself. And I'm just not worried about it. I very rarely lose signal, and the times I do lose signal, I know what to do. So I'm going to give you that little tip there. So when you come to losing signal, look at your RC signal reception. If it starts to go to 2 bars, then either and it says red and it goes to red, stop where the drone is. Let it reconnect with the controller. If it doesn't, bring the drone back up. Also, it has a lot to do with your how you're using the controller as well, because these antennas work out and they work that way. They don't go up really. They go in the more of a forward direction. So if you're flying above, you have your controller like this, but if you've got the drone further out from you, you have it like this, and you point it the way that the drone is. That will get you the best signal. So if you're flying behind you and you're still pointing this forward, you won't have the you'll notice that there'll be a drop in RC signal, and you'll have more outages. But also with that, make sure when you set your what to do with the drone if it loses signal, set it so that if it loses signal, it returns to home. Don't do it so it hovers, because if you hover and you don't get, and it's set to hover and you don't regain that signal, and what the drone will do when it starts to get low on battery, it will just slowly descend and it will land. So you could be over the sea, you could be over a lake, or you could be somewhere where you're not meant to be. Where you're not meant, where you can't actually get into. What I mean, because we can fly into a lot of areas with these drones because of the airspace. And yeah, farmers can't shoot these down as well. They're not allowed to. If they do, then they get done for shooting down an aircraft, because this is considered an aircraft, believe it or not. Yeah, I was told that by a rep. So yeah, who sells these? So yeah. Yeah, and also set your altitude, return to home altitude as well each time you fly. Yeah, that'll. So if you're flying over a built-up area where you've got trees or power lines or anything around you, set it to the maximum of 120 meters and let it return home. As soon as you basically see it, I like to. Most of the time, I bring it back manually anyway. But if you lose signal or something and then it starts returning home, I do find it comes back a bit slow. What you can do is just cancel or return to home and then just fly it back manually, and it will reconnect to the audio video feed as well. Also, what you need to do is with a drone, so I'm going to go over this, and I think, and a lot of people need to do it as well, and I talked to a few people and they haven't done it. So what you need to do with your drone is calibrate it quite often. So if you've flown 50 kilometers away from your last takeoff point, and what your last flight, you're meant to recalibrate it. It says it in the instruction manual. So what you do is you rotate the drone like this. Not this, I can't remember if it's that direction, I think it's the other way. And then that way, and then you go like that, and then you turn it that way. So that will calibrate the location for the drone, its compass. So yeah, not sure entirely why, but I don't do it, and I don't really think too much about it. And it doesn't take long, it takes probably about 2 minutes to do. Yeah, I do have most of the time I don't use filters, but when I just want to, slow down motion and stuff like that, I've got a force stop and a polarizing filter built into this little filter that I've got on the front here. Now this is made by a Freewell. They're not too bad. I don't think you really need to spend a lot of money on these drones, or these the filters for these drones, even though they are a lot of money. I think it was about $40 for this tiny little bit of glass. Now I've spent about half that money on a 100mm filter system, which I could make many filters out of my bigger filter, but I don't know why drone filters are so expensive. I don't know. But I do find with this filter system, the way it clips on it, it's got two little clips onto the back, and then it just like loops over the front. It can come loose at times, so be very wary of that. Yeah, so now I think we'll probably go into the image quality side of things. I've done prints with this drone. I really thought at first I probably wouldn't be able to do anything like maybe a 16:20 would be as big as you can do, because the aspect ratio for this is a 4:3. It's not a 3:6 or 2:3, like you get on a Canon DSLR or a Nikon or Sony. Yes, the micro four thirds aspect ratio. So yeah, I never thought I'd be able to do a 16:24 print, but I can, and very easily. I've done a exhibition recently where I've done a print using this drone, and we done a 40:54 print, and it was huge. Up close, it wasn't that great, but viewed back from 2 meters, it was just stunning. So much detail, so much resolve. And when you do print big anyway, you shouldn't stand close up to a print. Anyway, you wouldn't get the sort of image quality that I would get from my medium format Hasselblad or even this little M50 that I'm recording the video on today. It just can't compete. But for the price, and if you're new to photography and you're new to drones, I highly recommend you check out the Mini 2 or the Mini 3 if it's your first drone, or even if you're interested in drone photography but you don't want to spend a load of money on a drone. I highly recommend Mini 2. Yeah, and also they're making new drone rules as well going around the world, so I don't think I can actually get my drone out of Australia now, and there's a whole load of drone rules coming in as well. So this is probably going to be my last drone, and once it's gone, it's gone. You know, if it's, I'll probably just keep it when it dies, because I don't know how much life it's got left, but it's definitely a fun little thing to fly around and allows me to get creative, so yeah. Yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to also put some a slideshow up now, showing some of my best work created with this drone, how good it is. So you don't just have to use it for aerial looking down. You can use it at areas where maybe you just need a bit more height elevation, or where you want to take some photos from but you can't because of maybe it's over the sea. Yeah, hopefully enjoy the slideshow at the end of this video. If you've liked this video, and you've enjoyed the content, what I've said, be sure to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel, puts us more out there. If you've got any questions or you'd like to say something, make sure you pop it down in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Also, I'm on Instagram as well. Same handle as on here, Simon Phillips Photo, and yeah, look forward. And I put a bit more stuff on there, and I do occasional meetups as well. So if you're interested in that and you're in Perth, definitely check me out on there. And what else is it? Oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe. That's the most important one. So if you're interested in watching more videos that I produce, and the stuff that's happening this year, yeah, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye for now.